Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take a quick look again here at Solana, see what's going on. Bitcoin significantly struggling, and what do you know? Solana doing worse. This is not abnormal whatsoever, and while we're just below this descending trend line, just kind of not a great situation altogether. I'm considering closing our long position with Solana, honestly, just because it's not getting any better. So what we're going to do here today is just kind of get some perspective on what's going on with the overall sentiment. First of all, we're going to draw out some newer local fib levels, kind of see where retracement areas are at, and just kind of retest or reevaluate the liquidation levels to kind of see here. Because if I recall correctly from yesterday, there was very little incentive to push the price action down. There's no liquidation whatsoever, and at this point, minus some late longs. There's just, I don't want to blame it on manipulation, but there is a very significant holder of Solana that keeps dumping and pumping this coin on their own. They have a very significant large amount. So just know that this coin is a little more susceptible, at least as of lately, to market manipulation. Okay. Again, what does that mean for us? How do we interpret that? Well, simple way to understand it is just to generally avoid trading the coin until it finds its bottom. That's probably the best way to go. And to find the bottom, we're going to talk about that. You need to establish higher highs, higher lows, and kind of shift that lower low, lower high scenario. We can see that hasn't happened yet, so heads up on that. All right, and we take a quick look here at 188. We can see 188 and maybe 184 are these two little heavy concentrations here locally. Once again, that 185 mark has existed for a while. There's a very, very big chunk there. Wouldn't be surprised that's the same person that's pumping the coin as they are dumping. So maybe they come right back to that level and essentially consider buying. We'll see here soon, of course, but between now and then, there's not a ton of liquidation left, minus some local longs here that we can see. When we take a look here as well, we can see the liquidation delta has shifted to bearish. This is pretty common for a lot of altcoins right now. Keep in mind, a lot of times that will happen just to get you kind of to fake you out, and then the price pumps up after that. That's kind of why I drew a power of 3 out on my chart yesterday, kind of give you perspective of how that's supposed to work out. While it's not perfect, never truly is. It may be invalidated. For the most part, you will see coins dip below local support levels, get people to start getting all scared and sell, and then the price returns as if it never happened. So again, the paper hand's not really the best situation for you right now. We take a look here though at open interest. You can see once again 186 and 190 as those two heavy concentrations here locally. So 190 is trying to hold. That's kind of our last line of defense outside of that 186 mark. Okay, so we got two tentative support ranges. When we take a look though at the daily time frame on the larger picture here, basically, we can see that we're still under 50 in the RSI, 20 SMA. There's nothing really here that's super awesome or forgiving. Okay, when we take a look, of course, at the actual RSI here, relative strength index, we can see that the price action has been below it for some time, right? Generally not a favorable sign to try to long into until we start seeing that dynamic shift. Again, we're seeing lower highs, lower lows, parallel with the current price action. Nothing fantastic here. Okay, so the daily time frame, as I mentioned yesterday, is still not great. Most altcoins are going to be showing the same thing though. Okay, and that's the hard thing to identify breakouts or shifts in momentum. When you have macro structures like this, yet the smaller timeframes keep giving us false positives, right? A lot of those false positives derive specifically from Bitcoin and just how ridiculous Bitcoin is. I had a lot of algorithmic trading yesterday. The price went up to 99,000, then dumped this morning. Okay, that's par for the course, very standard stuff. It's easy to see afterwards, of course, but by that time, everything's the dust is settled and everyone's lost their money, right? So it's a bummer, but that's kind of how it goes. So again, all the more reason why you use low leverage, low position size. And just to give you complete honesty here, I mean, like we have like a 4x leverage trade with Solana, and it's in the red right now. And really, no matter how much, how low you go in leverage, there's still going to be a situation where you're still having to, feel that pain, I guess you could say. Good news is with low leverage, we don't have to worry about liquidation. I think our liquidation event, if we were to even go that close, which we don't, is somewhere in like the 120 to 140 range, if I'm not mistaken. So truth is, nothing to really worry about, but this is also not a great chart either, okay? So again, generally speaking, at this point, we don't want to take a long end of this until we break specific levels. And let's talk about that just really quick. And let me go ahead and update our fib levels here too. I'll do that on the hourly. But just to clarify, on the 4-hour time frame, we're still under the 20-day SMA, 50-day SMA. There's nothing here kind of letting us know it's worth taking a long position. Everything's pointing down. Just keep in mind, we're getting closer to 30 in the RSI. If that stays there, then we're more likely to see a recovery here. That's generally how relief rallies occur. We saw that here recently too. While it wasn't monumental, we saw a bounce from that 175 to that 215 mark. Okay. So again, that's just kind of where we're at, but the 4-hour time frame looks terrible. Hourly time frame is going to confirm the same thing as well as far as the significant divergence. We've broken below the cloud. Lagging spans free and clear conversion lines below the baseline. There's nothing here kind of saying that a long position is viable. Now, again, you got to keep in mind if Bitcoin bounces or recovers here, we're good. But there's a solid chance we're going to see this liquidation area retested and swept. There's a pretty significant amount of liquidation to the downside. In fact, you can see that here. Where about 95 to 96,000 is kind of that heavy pocket of concentration for Bitcoin liquidation. If that were to occur, what do you think is going to happen with Solana? I think we're going to see a dip, quick little wick down to that 185, 184 mark to sweep its liquidation too. Anyways, let's talk about the hourly really quick, or just this power of three and kind of call it a day. It's common for this to occur where the price action works itself into a range, right? And then when it breaks down, you can see this is the manipulation phase here. Most people are starting to flip short now, okay? And once that occurs, they see that liquidation delta goes too high in the short direction, and then price action comes up to squeeze all those late shorts. Okay, that's kind of how that works. Now again, you could draw this pattern out on a lot of different charts, and it never always truly plays out. But I would not be surprised if we see some crazy, ridiculous push to the upside here, just based on simple, the way that things have been quote unquote manipulated. So I hate to even use that word because it sounds like an excuse. It really isn't. It's just kind of the way that the market goes. And honestly, these things shouldn't be happening, but they do. And they happen all the time. Because traditional markets, I mean, you rarely see this kind of just aggression and just this kind of control. And it's unfortunate, especially with coins like this that are generally supposed to be pretty strong, right? So that's kind of where we're at. Anyways, I hope that made sense and I described that correctly. If you want to find out more about these things here, I have a pretty significant education channel here on our Discord. And the Power 3, again, is just kind of, it's a smart money thing, right? And again, they do this all the time. It's very consistent, but it's just kind of an example of what may happen. So we do see this, this local, what we want to look for, by the way, is a closure above 203. So hypothetically, the price does kind of recover and do one of these. That's when you see the price take off. Okay, so it might not be for a little while. Okay, but anyway, something to look for. It's definitely not a guarantee, though. Please don't attach yourself to that idea. Just throwing it out there that these are things that are very consistent in the manipulated market that we trade in right now. All right, folks. I hope you have a great rest day. Thanks again so much for your time. Look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.